What's that?
It's our new laugh track. What do you think?
Hey, it's cool. Can I try it?
Okay, shoot.
All right. What do you get when you dig up a piece of prehistory?
Mystery!
No, it's my joke. What do you get when you dig up a piece of prehistory? Blistery. Don't you get it?
That
dig
didn't
up
even
blistery?
deserve a laugh track.
Hey!
The discovery of Argentinosaurus was really big news, but it's only the most recent case in the long story of the sauropods.
A story that started back in the 1870s with the first American boneheads. They were the pioneers who started digging up the big bones, and the public loved it. All of a sudden, dinosaurs were big business, and museums paid big money for bones of all shapes and sizes.
The bigger, the better.
This is one of the original teams of bonehead detectives. That's their leader, college professor Othniel Marsh.
This photo was taken before the invention of the smile.
Marsh was the first to dig up a nearly complete brontosaurus skeleton. The only thing missing was its head.
Luckily, my man Bob Bacher is on the case.
This is a really great head. It's the head of a brontosaurian. Professor Marsh found the first good skeleton of a brontosaurian, Brontosaurus itself, and it was a huge, powerful animal. But Professor Marsh didn't have a head. So he looked at other quarries for a head. And what sort of head should his brontosaurus have? Well, it had to be a great, big, strong head, and he picked this head. And this is the head Marsh put on Brontosaurus at Yale, and the New York Museum put the same sort of head on their Brontosaurus, and the museum in Pittsburgh put the same head on their Brontosaurus. And when the movie King Kong was made, the Brontosaurus that ate the sailor had this type of head. Very fierce head with huge teeth. A great head, a wonderful head, a very adaptive head, but it's the wrong head. The real shocker is that the correct head was found nearly 80 years ago. You see, the Carnegie Museum was digging a beautiful brontosaurus in the early part of the century, and they got the torso, and they got the base of the neck, and the front of the neck, and then the neck right behind the head, where the head should be, and a few feet away was this head. And the quarryman said, "Whoopee, we've got the head of Brontosaurus." And the head preparator back at Pittsburgh said, "Whoopee, we have the head of Brontosaurus." But then the government paleontologist came in and said, "Wrong head. We all know Brontosaurus had a great big boxy head. This is an elegant, skinny, triangular head that looks like Diplodocus, so it can't be the head of Brontosaurus." So this head, this wonderful head, the true Brontosaurus head, sat forgotten on a shelf in Pittsburgh until the mid-1970s, when Professor McIntosh said, "The quarry guy was right all along. This is the head of Brontosaurus. And it looks like a Diplodocus head because Brontosaurus and Diplodocus are sister species. They had the same construction all over, from tail to head, so of course they're going to have the same sort of cranium."
So it took them 100 years to figure out they didn't even have the right skull? It's an outrage.
It's just one of the occupational hazards of paleontology, Sam. You've got to be able to adapt your theories to new evidence. Now that Brontosaurus has his head on straight, let's take a look at the big picture.
And with the help of his trusty ladder and box of crayons, Bob Bacher is going to show us just how big the big picture really is.
Hope he's not afraid of heights.
Bob's not afraid of anything. Not even the biggest dino of them all.
Sauropod dinosaurs are the most gigantic biological machines ever to have walked the earth. They're stupendous. What we're going to do with this ladder and the building behind me is go to grips with stupendousness. What does it mean? How did they deal with it? How did they solve its problems?
Bob is an inspiration to boneheads everywhere. He will even put his life on the line to illustrate a point.
Is there anything Bob can't do? I mean, he knows everything. He's got a killer beard. And now, on top of it all, it turns out he's even an accomplished graffiti artist. No wonder he even has groupies.
While Bob vandalizes the side of this building, let's pop over to England. This is zoologist McNeil Alexander. Here at Bonehead Detectives, we have a theory to explain why McNeil is feeding these giraffes.
It's because they are quite hungry, isn't it?
But when it comes to sauropods and how much they weighed, it's McNeil who has all the theories and all the toys.
We've only got bones of fossil dinosaurs, so there's no point weighing them. But we can work out how heavy real dinosaurs were by using models.
McNeil is dunking this model sauropod to see how high the water rises. Using this information, he estimates that the real deal would have weighed between 80 and 100 tons, maybe even more.
Wow, that's like 200,000 pounds.
Yep. Now back in the States, Bob Barker's still busy trying to fit a sauropod onto the side of this building.
Looks like Bob's got an all-day job.
Well, you can't exactly dash off a life-size drawing of the biggest creature that ever lived. It takes time.
All right, we'll check in with him in a million years or so. Is that all right with you kids? You know, if it is, don't say anything, okay? Thanks.
You know, Allie, I'm concerned. All we've been talking about are adult sauropods, but what about the children? After all, kids are the future.
Well, Sam, since dinosaurs are extinct, there really is no future, but I see your point. Let's go live to our reporter, Henrietta Lair. She's standing by in the field with one of the youngest sauropods in the world. Henrietta, can you hear me?
Yes, Allie. I'm here in the middle of nowhere with a fossilized sauropod egg.
Henrietta, question. How did the 100-ton giant come from such a tiny egg?
Excellent question, Allie. McNeil Alexander thinks he knows. Over to you, McNeil.
Sauropod eggs are about the size of this football. So how big a baby can you get in that? Imagine this chap here, fold his tail round, curl his neck round to the side. You could just about get him into an egg this size.